It was supposed to be a fun trip. Just me, Jacob, and Lisa, college friends from Flagstaff, escaping the pressure of finals week for a weekend in the Arizona desert. No responsibilities, no campus noise, no phones. Just us, a tent, and the stars. We packed light and drove for hours, leaving the last sign of civilization far behind. The place we picked wasn't even marked on the map. An old canyon Jacob had heard about from a geology professor, remote, quiet, untouched. By sunset, we had our camp set up on a flat stretch near the canyon's edge. The desert lit up in deep oranges and purples as the sun dipped below the horizon. As night fell, the silence deepened, and the stars emerged, more stars than I'd ever seen in my life. We laid on our backs around the crackling fire, wrapped in blankets, talking about life, future plans, dumb things we'd done, pointing out constellations we half remembered from grade school. Around midnight, Jacob sat up abruptly, his eyes locked on the sky. "Hey," he said, squinting, "that one's moving." We followed his finger to a bright light overhead, what we assumed was a star, but it wasn't. It was gliding across the sky much too quickly for a satellite, and then it stopped. Dead still, suspended high above, not twinkling like the stars, but glowing steadily. Lisa muttered something under her breath. We all stared, the laughter gone from our voices, replaced by a growing unease. The light began to move again, but this time it was coming down, slowly, silently, closer. The glowing object descended until it hovered about 200 feet above our heads. It was a disc, clearly metallic, perfectly smooth, with a ring of lights along the edge that spun in a rhythmic, mesmerizing pattern. There was no engine noise, no propellers, no wind, just an eerie, pulsing stillness that seemed to blanket the area. Lisa screamed. We bolted, grabbing our bags and flashlights, trying to run, but it felt like the world suddenly froze. The wind stopped, the fire stopped crackling, the bugs went silent, even the air felt different, thick, dense, electric. It was like time had been paused by an unseen hand. Then came the feeling. Not physical, but mental. A presence, slipping into my mind without permission. It wasn't warm or kind, it was cold, detached, clinical, like something was observing me from the inside out, pulling apart my thoughts, scanning my memories, prodding at my identity like I was nothing more than data. I couldn't move, couldn't scream. My body was locked in place, my mind wide open and vulnerable. And then, blackness. When I came to, I was lying face down in the dirt. The sky was beginning to lighten with dawn. I was disoriented, groggy, sore. I stumbled to my feet and looked around. Jacob was sprawled nearby, unconscious. Lisa was curled on her side, shivering. We were about 50 feet from our camp. The fire was out, our gear scattered. Our watches had all stopped at the same exact time, 12:23 a.m. Lisa had a mark on her shoulder, a perfect circle like a burn with strange symbols etched into it. Delicate, geometric, alien. She couldn't explain it. None of us could explain anything. There were hours unaccounted for, no memories, just fragments, flashes of light, a feeling of weightlessness, a cold surface against my skin. But mostly, a silence that still echoes in my head. In the weeks that followed, things got worse. Lisa started having seizures. At first they were mild, twitching, zoning out. Then they escalated. Her doctors couldn't find a cause. The mark on her shoulder faded, but never fully vanished. Jacob developed a high-pitched ringing in his ears, constant and maddening, like a tuning fork vibrating in his skull. Specialists ran every test they could think of, but nothing helped. And me? I discovered a scar I'd never had before, at the base of my spine. A thin, precise line. I don't remember getting it. But when I touch it, sometimes it tingles, like something is still in there. We never went back to that place. We tried to pretend it never happened. Told our friends we got lost, that Lisa got heat stroke, that we saw something weird in the sky, probably a drone or a weather balloon. We laughed it off, changed the subject. But the truth never left us. Sometimes, I still dream of it. The disc, the silence, that feeling of being cracked open like a book. And worse, sometimes, I don't think it was just a memory. Sometimes I wake up with dirt under my fingernails and no idea how it got there. Sometimes I catch Jacob staring at the sky for hours. Sometimes Lisa calls me crying, saying she saw the lights again, hovering outside her window. I don't know what they wanted. I don't know why they picked us, but deep down, I think they're not finished. I think we were tagged, cataloged, marked. And one day, maybe tomorrow, maybe years from now, they'll come back to finish what they started. Because somewhere out there, they're still watching. I was 12 when it happened, but I remember every second with the clarity of a scar. Not a memory, exactly, more like something imprinted on my soul, the kind of thing you don't forget, even if you try. And I have. Believe me, I've tried. We lived on a modest farm in southern Iowa, rows of corn as far as the eye could see, an old red barn, and a weathered farmhouse built in the 1940s, with creaky floorboards and chipped white paint. Life was simple, predictable, quiet. My bedroom was on the second floor, window facing east toward the fields. It had yellowed wallpaper, a squeaky bed, and a desk cluttered with comic books and half-finished science projects. That night I couldn't sleep. Something felt off, like the air itself was too still. It was dead silent. No crickets, no wind rustling the stalks. Even the old oak outside wasn't creaking, just a deep, unsettling stillness. Then just after 2:00 a.m., the light came. A bright blue glow flooded through my window, intense and unnatural. Not the soft blue of moonlight or the quick flash of lightning. This was pulsing, rhythmic, as if it had a heartbeat of its own. My entire room lit up like daylight. I scrambled to the window, heart pounding in my chest like a war drum. And that's when I saw them. 3 figures, tall and impossibly thin, drifting through the cornfield. They didn't walk like people. They glided. Smooth, effortless, as if gravity didn't apply to them. They were maybe 6 feet tall, their skin a dull gray that shimmered slightly in the pulsing blue light. Their heads were elongated, their limbs disturbingly long, and their eyes huge, black, and glassy. Locked onto mine the moment I saw them. No mouths, no ears, just those eyes, empty and endless. I wanted to scream. I tried to scream. I tried to run to my parents' room, but my body wouldn't move. Not even a twitch. I was completely paralyzed, trapped in my own skin. I could feel my breath hitching, my eyes wide and wet, but everything else was frozen. I don't know how long I stood there like that. Seconds? Minutes? Then one of them raised its hand, long fingers with too many joints, and the light intensified. It wasn't just bright, it was blinding, piercing. My eyes burned, my skull vibrated. The world went white. And then, nothing. I woke up in the barn, cold, confused, barefoot, lying in the hay like a rag doll someone had tossed aside. My pajamas were wrinkled and inside out. My arms were sore, like they'd been pinned down. There was dried blood under my nose and a strange buzzing in my ears. The sun was already rising, casting long shadows through the barn slats. I stumbled out, barefoot in the morning dew. My mom found me in the yard and screamed. I'd never seen her face like that. Wild, pale, trembling. My dad rushed out in a panic. They thought I'd been kidnapped. The police were called. Search parties were discussed. But none of that mattered when the doctor found something. A small, hard bump under the skin behind my right ear, like a pebble lodged under the surface. He scheduled a minor surgery to remove it, but 2 days later, when we came back to the clinic, it was gone. No bump, no scar, nothing. Just skin. For weeks I was numb, silent. My parents thought I was in shock. The school counselor said it was sleepwalking, but I knew. Deep down, I knew it was real. The blue light, the eyes, the way they moved, and the feeling I couldn't shake. That I wasn't entirely myself anymore. Something had changed. The dreams started soon after. Always the same. Me, lying on a cold metal table in a white room that didn't have walls or ceiling, just light. The beings around me, silent, staring, their hands over me, examining, tapping, prodding, not hurting me, but not gentle either, like I was a specimen, a project. I'm 38 now, married, 2 kids, a job, a mortgage. Life goes on, but I never sleep with the windows open. I still wake up some nights drenched in sweat, convinced I've been somewhere else. And sometimes, especially in July, when the corn is high and the nights are quiet, I see shapes moving out there. Tall shapes, watching, waiting. And once, just once, I swear I saw that same blue pulse, faint, far off in the fields. It faded before I could blink, but I know they're still out there. And I think they remember me too. It was a cold October night in 1997, the kind where your breath fogs up the windshield faster than the defroster can keep up. I was dead tired after pulling a double shift at May's Diner out in rural Montana. My hands smelled like bacon grease, and my legs ached from 12 hours of running plates. I just wanted to get home, crawl under the covers, and forget the world existed. The road stretched out before me like a black ribbon, winding through empty plains and patches of pine forest. There were no other cars. Just the hum of my old Chevy and the occasional distant howl of a coyote. That stretch of Route 83 was quiet, almost too quiet, like the world was holding its breath. About halfway home, just past the old logging turnoff, I noticed a strange glow in my rearview mirror. It wasn't bright like headlights, more like a soft orb, pulsing gently. At first, I thought it might have been a helicopter, maybe a ranger patrol, though I couldn't imagine why one would be out here. But it didn't move like any chopper. It didn't move like anything I'd ever seen. It hovered. Silent, steady, glowing pale white with a slight bluish tint. It stayed about 30 feet above the road, locked behind me like it was watching, studying. When I slowed down, it did too. When I hit the gas, it matched my speed. Always the same distance, same height, as if tethered to me by some invisible line. Then I noticed the air inside the car felt wrong. Heavy, like I was breathing through wet cotton. A weird pressure built in my chest, thick and suffocating. My hands gripped the wheel, knuckles white, and a cold sweat ran down my spine. My skin prickled with something I can only describe as alertness, like every nerve in my body was tuned to danger. Then things got weirder. The radio snapped into static, high-pitched and shrieking like it was trying to say something I couldn't quite hear. My headlights began to flicker, dimming in and out. I tried to turn the volume down, but the knob didn't respond. Then, without warning, the engine sputtered and died. Everything went dark. I coasted to a stop in the middle of the highway, surrounded by nothing but silence and trees. No wind, no crickets, just stillness, like time itself had paused. I stepped out of the car, breath steaming in the cold. The quiet was deafening. That's when I saw it. The light, now closer, descended slowly from the sky, revealing a smooth metallic disc about the size of a small house. It hovered just above the treetops, completely silent. Its surface reflected no moonlight, only the eerie glow from its underside. Circular patterns like glyphs or symbols, pulsing softly, in rhythm like a heartbeat. I couldn't move. I tried to scream, to call out, but nothing came. It was like my body wasn't mine anymore. My limbs were frozen, not with fear, but by something else, an invisible grip that held me in place. I could feel my heart hammering in my chest, but I was powerless. Then came the sound. Not loud, but low, a deep vibrating hum that resonated inside my head, like it was shaking my skull from the inside out. It wasn't just noise, it was alive. The pressure behind my eyes grew unbearable, and just when I thought I couldn't take it anymore, blackness. When I came to, I was back in the driver's seat. The engine was running, the dashboard lights glowed calmly, the headlights illuminated the road ahead. My radio was silent, like nothing had happened. But the clock said 5:14 a.m. I had lost over 3 hours. I blinked and looked around in a daze. My hands were shaking. I noticed my shirt was inside out, my watch was gone, and my shoes were in the passenger seat. I felt like I'd run a marathon. Every muscle ached, my throat was dry, and I had a splitting headache. Then I saw the mark. On my left wrist, 3 small red dots arranged in a perfect triangle. They looked like burns, precise and clean, as if made by a laser. They didn't hurt, they just were. The mark faded over the next few days like it had never existed. but I know what I saw. I tried to explain it to the sheriff. He listened, expressionless, then gave me a cup of coffee and asked if I'd maybe fallen asleep at the wheel. I told a few others, same result. Laughter, dismissals, sideways glances. Some said it was stress, others said I was dreaming. But I wasn't. I still drive that road sometimes, late at night. I don't know why. Maybe I'm looking for answers, or maybe a part of me is hoping I don't find them. Every now and then, I'll catch a faint shimmer in the sky, a flash, a pulse, a feeling like I'm being watched. And sometimes, when it's real quiet, I swear I hear that hum again. As you reach the end of these stories, ask yourself, what if the things we fear most aren't just figments of our imagination? What if there's something far darker, far more real, and far more terrifying than we could ever comprehend? The truth is, we live in a world full of mysteries, but none more chilling than the phenomenon of alien abductions. These aren't just stories passed down through generations. They are lived experiences, real, unsettling, and deeply disturbing. The people who have lived through these terrifying encounters didn't go looking for the unknown. They didn't expect to be dragged from their homes or their beds in the middle of the night. And yet, there they were, taken by something they could never understand, never truly explain. They describe the same things: blinding lights that appear out of nowhere, strange figures that are not quite human, and moments of missing time, hours, even days, that vanish without a trace, leaving only fear and confusion in their wake. These experiences are not isolated incidents. They are repeated across the world, across generations, by people who have never met and yet describe the same eerie details. Whether it's in the middle of the night, alone on a lonely highway, or while camping far from civilization, the fear is the same. And when they return, they aren't the same. Something is left behind in the void of those missing hours. Something has changed within them, something they can't put into words, and something that lingers long after they return. The most terrifying part of all, we don't know what they want. We don't know why they choose certain people, or why they come back for some and not others. These stories are a chilling reminder that we are not alone. We may think the sky above us is just a vast expanse of stars, a peaceful stretch of space, but what if it's something more? What if there's something out there, watching, waiting? We may never have the answers, but the unsettling truth is they're out there, and maybe they've been watching us for much longer than we think. So the next time you see something strange in the sky, or hear a noise outside your window in the dead of night, ask yourself, could it be real? Could it be happening to you? The truth may be far more terrifying than we can imagine, and perhaps, just perhaps, you've already crossed paths with something far beyond your understanding, and they're waiting for the right moment to come back. If you've ever experienced anything like this, if you've had your own strange, unexplainable encounter, don't keep it to yourself. Share your story with us in the comments below. You might just be the one to unlock the next mystery, the next piece of the puzzle. Your experience could be the one that others need to hear. It could be the next chapter in this never-ending tale of the unknown, your story. And if you've enjoyed this journey into the unknown, don't forget to like this video, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe so you won't miss out on the chilling stories we have yet to share. We delve into the terrifying, the unexplained, and the darkest corners of reality. New horrors are always lurking just beyond our understanding, and who knows, the next story might just be one you'll never forget. Until next time, stay alert, keep your windows closed, and never forget, you are never truly alone, because in the silence of the night, when the stars shine just a little too brightly, you never know who or what might be watching you.